Hi, this is Regeline Sabal, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Mindy East. Mindy East is the CEO and founder of Barron Ridge Speakers Agency, and Mindy is known to her grandchildren as Big Momma. Welcome to the show, Mindy.
Thank you, Gigi. It's such an honor to be here.
Likewise, it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us about you and where you are from?
I'm here in the Midwest. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, which is home to two of the largest privately owned Fortune 500 companies. We have Coke and Cargill here, and I have a speakers agency, and I represent 24 professional keynote speakers from across the country, one in Africa, and you are one of them.
Thank you. And it's an honor to be a part of your Barron Ridge's agency as well. I'm truly honored. Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, tell us more about what inspired you to launch Barron Ridge Speakers Agency.
So I've been in this industry for 10 years. I started off as the marketing director for the nation's leading extreme weather expert, who is the senior VP of AccuWeather, Mike Smith. So I managed the speaking side of his career, and then I took out on my own, and I started my agency in 2015, and I signed him as one of my clients.
I love it. Now, tell us more about your book, The Animal's Weather Guide for Children.
Well, being around AccuWeather and Mike Smith, I was just right in the middle of all these large-scale weather events. And I realized that kids either love weather or they're afraid of weather. And as a mother and a grandmother, I decided to write a book, and that soon turned into 2 books. And I really wanted to just empower the young reader to know what to do during the event of any weather condition that might arise. And living here in Tornado Alley, we're very used to the wind and the weather and the hail and thunderstorms rolling through the area. So I just wanted to give kids an opportunity to go to sleep at night and feel a little more comfortable knowing that they were going to be okay.
Fantastic. Now tell us more about your other book, The Animal's Guide to Weather Around the World and Other Natural Wonders.
So the second book, and they're both behind me on my little baker's rack, you can see. The second book I wrote with a little older reader in mind, and it includes either an action step or, excuse me, a fascinating fact. So, for example, few of us will ever experience an iceberg in our lifetime, but they're very important to scientists and helping to determine the atmospheric effects of our world. So I wanted to include some things that would be educational and inspirational, and hopefully motivate some young kids, especially the young female readers, to possibly go into science, technology, math, and say engineering, into a STEM program, or just to get excited about the world around them.
Absolutely amazing. Now tell us more about your show, Ageless Enthusiasm, on PBS KANSAS.
I'm so excited. I was just asked to be the host of this new show. We're getting our sponsors lined out right now, and all the guests are already committed. So Ageless Enthusiasm, it's really an attitude, and we're going to redefine life, health, and happiness over age 50. And there are just so many things that we need to be aware of as we enter into this next stage of our lives. And I am actually I'm writing on the coattails of one of the top-rated local shows in our PBS our community, which is empowering seniors. And right now, that is just one of their biggest shows on the local level. It is that demographic, is 65 to on and beyond. So this show was created by that host, and it is going to kind of just reach down into what she calls the go-to kid, the adult child that's helping with their, elderly parents, but also might have still, a couple of kids at home, or might be doing some double duty with grandchildren and balancing a job and a marriage, or being single after age 50. There's so many topics that are relevant that we are just so excited to bring to our viewer. And our local KPTS station was rebranded in January, and so they have enlarged their reach, and I'm in South Central Wichita, Kansas. So we're excited to bring this seriously good TV to our viewers and hopefully inspire more people to come on board and pay attention to public television and everything it has to offer.
Very powerful. Now, tell us more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life.
Well, life happens to a lot of people. And, when you get to a certain age, you probably experience some things like empty nest syndrome, or a divorce, or loss of a parent, things like that. In my case, I was married forever, 35 years, and then I found myself suddenly single. So it wasn't my choice to be divorced. It was his idea. But, I had to allow my emotions to catch up with his decision. And after that, that's when I decided to write the books. And I had to reinvent myself. And I had to figure out a way to, instead of being someone's mother and someone's wife, I needed to stake out and claim my identity and start fresh from a whole new perspective. And so I've been very fortunate and have had a great group of supportive friends and people and family and community. So I was able to write the 2 books and start my company. And now I'm happily remarried, just recently got married 3 years ago. So life is so good, and, have grandbabies and just so many wonderful things to look forward to. But I'd say probably the hardest thing I had to deal with was, going through a divorce after so many years of being married. That was really tough.
Very inspiring. Now, for the audience that's listening today who may be going through divorce right now, what is your best advice to those individuals to never give up? Because you never gave up. You kept going no matter what, even after the divorce. So what if someone wants to end their life because now they've just gone through divorce? What would you tell them?
Oh my goodness. If you could see us as a family now, so much has grown and blossomed. And I think my biggest encouragement would be I'm trying to get this, there we go. My biggest encouragement would be for that person going through that tough time to know that this too shall pass, not this too shall stay. And I made it my mission to forgive and to move forward. And so now I have a very good working relationship with my ex, because I knew that he would always be in my life with 3 children, and with all these grandkids. We've got 7 grandchildren together. So I wanted to make sure that we had a good working relationship so that everybody else could move forward with their lives. And I didn't want to harbor any resentment or bitterness, because I know that that would impede my success and my happiness. And it would also probably keep me from finding such a wonderful husband that I did, my second husband. So I would just encourage people that, divorce is, yes, it is. It's a permanent situation. It's usually a permanent solution to possibly a temporary problem, but you don't have to let your life stop there. You can actually start over and rewrite your happy ending. And this time you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. So I took the things that I know that I can do. Sorry, now they're having trouble. I took stock of the things that were in my skill set and decided to move forward with that.
I love it. Now, how important is your faith to you?
Oh my goodness. My faith is everything. In fact, I tried dating for a little while, and I wasn't thrilled with what was going on in the dating world and the options that were there for me. So I had a come to Jesus meeting with God, and I just said, okay, I don't care what he does, where he lives, what he does for a living, what kind of car he drives. I don't care. I just want who you want me to be with, because I knew that his choice, well, I know that he always gives his choice to those he gives his best to those who leave the choice with him. So I just took myself off the market, and I didn't even put myself out there. And the one that was meant for me found me, and I didn't even have to look. So the only thing I did was I just said, okay, God, let me know who he is. And he told me, in my spirit, he said, okay, the man that comes to you and says that he prayed for you, he'll be the one. And so that's how I knew. And so we've had a wonderful, we've had a wonderful marriage so far. And, we're still happy. And I don't know that we've ever had an argument. We just are so compatible. And he's so handsome. He's from LA. He looks like a movie star, but he treats me like I'm a celebrity. So he was just, oh, please don't stop. But yes, I give God all that credit, because, when you're in a damaged place and you've suffered some loss, you think that you can go out and fix things on your own. And I wasn't attracting the right type of people for me. So if I can say anything, I was just smart enough to say, I'm not smart enough. And that way like I said, I just took myself off the market. I focused on my family, focused on my faith. I focused on my career. And I did my homework. I read a lot. I prayed. I'm a big journaler. So I read some really wonderful books and spent a lot of time just in the Word, and that helped.
I love it. And you mentioned the word, you dug deep into the word. It's so important when we read the Bible, because God is speaking to us. So thank you for sharing that. Now, talk to us a little bit more about building your faith. So let's say someone wants to build a relationship with God. What are some steps that you recommend those individuals take? How you did?
Oh my gosh, this sounds so corny, but it was so effective for me. I got a package of 3x5 index cards, and I wrote down all my favorite verses, Bible verses. And there were times there that, I was single for 4 years. So I went through some, tough times where I had to dig in my purse. I carried that with me everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, sitting in the waiting room, waiting to go in for an attorney meeting, sitting at a train, going to lunch, and just sitting there with my thoughts. And I would go over those scriptures, and that was so helpful to me. And I just kind of pulled back. At the time, my children were all in their 20s, but still, I didn't want to just be out like a dog running loose on trash day. So I wanted to, just kind of be mindful of my intention. And I decided what I wanted. And then I just focused on that, and I used scripture to keep me in alignment.
I love it. Now tell us more about an aha moment that you experienced in your life.
Oh, probably one of the biggest aha moments for me was learning that I had the power to manifest things that I wanted in my life through the power of writing it down, through the pen. And like I mentioned, I'm a huge person who loves to journal. So I have stacks and stacks and stacks of journals that have kept me probably out of the Betty Ford Center, if there is one anymore. But it just helped keep me sane, and it helped keep me happy, and it helped me to process my feelings and get all that upset out and replace it with the things that I did want. So often we think about things that we don't want. You know, we think about, oh, I need to get out of debt, rather than thinking about, I want to be financially free. So so much of the time, it's what we tell ourselves. And my biggest aha moment was just the fact that I could write down anything on a piece of paper and focus on it, and it will probably, without any surprise, eventually come true.
I love it. Very powerful. Now, Mindy, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Ooh, I just went through a situation with somebody who came against me and said something unkind and untrue about me. And we're not immune to the ways of the world, and one person can come against you, but it can seem like an army. And so in this situation, I didn't do anything wrong. I like to say, you've heard of that expression, stay in your own lane. Well, I didn't stay in my lane, and I didn't use a turn signal. So somebody felt threatened and let me know about it in a not too very nice way. So I had to really go back and think about putting on the armor of God, because that's what protects us from any arrows from the enemy. And so that helmet of salvation keeps your mind in the right direction, and the breastplate of righteousness protects your heart. The belt of truth, you want to cinch it up tight so that you're able to stand firm. The sword of the Spirit is there to protect you and keep you focused. And then, of course, those shoes, shod in the gospel of peace, keeps you on a path where you're not going to retaliate. So I would say just when somebody comes against you, when someone, and so much of what we're experiencing now is either bullying or an attempt to cancel somebody, is just to be firm and know who you are in Christ. Know where you're going, and know that at the end of the day, I mean, you think about in heaven, we're not going to be buying or selling anything. So how we treat other people is everything. So that's my focus, is just to keep things, just to realize no relationships this side of heaven are ever permanent. So the best way to handle that is just to treat everyone with kindness.
Treat everyone with kindness and know who you are in Christ. Yeah. Very powerful. Mindy, thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gigi. I look forward to working with you. You're one of my newer speakers, and I'm so honored and happy to have you, and can't wait for things to open up more so we can get you out there and show everyone what an incredible keynote speaker you are.
I appreciate you. And it's, again, such an honor to be a part of your agency. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Where can the audience find you?
Well, of course, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Mindy East, and my website is barronridgeproductions.com. And so we're more than happy to work with anybody. I love to work with meeting and event planners and find out exactly what kind of project they're working on. And then we specify our speeches to that sponsoring organization. So we'd be happy to work with anybody. And Gigi is one of the best. So let me know if you'd like to reserve Gigi for your next stage or conference, and I'd be happy to set things up.
Thank you. And thank you again for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Mindy at barronridgeproductions.com and all of her social media. And again, Mindy, thank you, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.